So today we're breaking down three things: how we can build funnels around boring but widely profitable businesses, how to treat gated content like e-commerce, so real playbooks with tools, videos, and resources that actually earn an email, and how we can use AI to create clean, inspiring editorial content that actually makes our blogs feel like good editorial resource sections. Okay, so let's get into it. Uh, So First thing I want to talk about is lead generation. And the main thing that people miss around lead generation is obviously a dollar spent to a dollar made, right? And we all often, like, the people that are doing the most digital online lead generation are like SaaS companies that are selling a 10 to $60 a month project, right? Those are the people that typically are spending a lot of money on lead gen, right? Um, but there's a part of the market that I would say doesn't do lead gen as much as they should, but they're selling things that are twenty to $30,000 projects or $100,000 projects, and I find that those are the people that actually don't understand lead gen the most, but could benefit from lead gen the most, right? So we're talking roofers, contractors, plumbers, which are all things that will not be automated by AI, but are lucrative, real. Not to say that SaaS businesses aren't real businesses, but like let's be honest here. Someone's always going to need to fix your plumbing, right? Pedro, tell me a little bit about your experience in this industry and why you feel it's like so underserviced, or like people are missing the point with this.
Yeah, certainly. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about these industries. Anything to do with the trade industry, it's highly underserved at this point. I feel that because it's not sexy and it's not going to be your next Silicon Valley style startup, then people don't want to work for it or don't want to invest their time in it. But the reality is that most of these companies that are they're family businesses. For them, like the vast majority of them, they're highly profitable, like more than your sexy startups that you're seeing on the like all around, main cities, Toronto, Austin, New York, San Francisco, you name it. These are real businesses that are hardworking businesses that they've been around for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and they're ongoing making $2, $3, $4 million a month. This is way more than your nice, shiny subscription model.
Hmm.
What I find is that they're very traditional. They're very human driven. They love to interact with the customers. They love to see what's happening at all times. They don't care about like fancy stuff, fancy dashboards, fancy anything. And there's like, for my research, there is a couple of people that are doing or targeting this industry as well, but they need so much help. It's an industry that, depending on what you do, you mentioned roofers, you mentioned plumbers, contractors, whatever the case is, there's a daily demand for all of these businesses. And working these businesses, I can tell you that building the funnels make a big impact on these businesses. And they just don't want something that it's automated. They want something that is real. They want something that has sort of that human touch at the end of the day, because this is what close these kind of businesses and this kind of leads.
So where's the disconnect between digital scaling up, like scaling out businesses, and these business owners who are running roofing companies, renovation companies, stuff like that? Like, I think the reason why lots of people work with more of the SaaS companies, because they actually know how to scale business. Because if you do turn these things on, you can scale them. So, you can generate tons and tons of leads for a roofing company, but if the mom and pop shop only knows how to run a crew of 30 people, and that's about the level that they can do, then like you can only scale it so much, right? Like,
Mhm.
I always like have said this working with you over the years. It's like, are you sure you want to work? Like, are you sure you can handle the volume? Like, because if we get this right, you're going to have to turn your business into, you're going to have to grow, right? So, do you find that there's like, where's the disconnect working with those companies where it's like, yeah, they want most of their stuff is referral, all that stuff, but like, where do you find a disconnect working with them? Because they don't understand the dashboards. You said it, like, they don't know the dashboards, they don't know the scale, but like, how do you educate them with that?
I mean, the disconnect, what I find with them, it's yeah, like it takes a while to modernize their businesses. They're not that exposed to technology per se. And as you mentioned, like they want to scale their businesses, but in a way that they can sustain it. Reputation in this kind of businesses, in trades. As a matter of fact, in any industry, it's extremely important. But for them, it's their name, it's their local communities. At the end of the day, they don't want to be your next national company that everybody goes to for. They want to be highly recognizable within their communities, and they want the locals to go to them because they have the same, they can give that current customer service to every single user. And that might be the main disconnect when companies come in and pitch, hey, you're going to be the next big thing. They don't want to be that. They
Mhm.
just want to be, your average person that enjoys going to the cottage on the weekend. They want to go fishing. The crew likes to have pizza on a Friday at lunch. That's the kind of lifestyles that they're looking for. They just want to be able to see more than, what am I going to make the next month? They want to have a proper pipeline. They want to organize it in their own style, which you can do. You can modernize it. You can help them with that, but not disrupting completely what they have worked so hard to build.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember I hired one of my contractors and I was like, "Oh, like you did a great job. It's a great price, like all this." And I was like, "I can send you this much business." He's like, "Yeah, but I don't want to hire any more people. I just like painting and doing it on my own, right?" But that's tough for us as marketers because we're like, we see I spent $40 getting him this lead. That $40 equals $40,000 project, right? So like I think one of my favorite case studies in where this goes wrong, but I think it would be better like if you had more like founder like you're gonna have a lot of white collar people kind of getting into this. I think if you had more founders that like educated business owners on how to like, hey, we're gonna scale this thing, we're gonna add more staff, we're gonna put a HR system in place. Like I could see like tons of these businesses actually growing to be really, bigger businesses like 10, $50 million local businesses. And one of my favorite examples of this is Smart Reno. So Smart Reno, basically, if you Google Smart Reno now, you're going to see this big problem. It's like, okay, what happened was they built this amazing funnel. This amazing funnel for finding contractors near you. RBC backed it because obviously they're financing these. They're financing renovation loans and everything like that. Really smart play. But what happened was they were sending all these leads to contractors, and you know Royal Bank doesn't know how to do the duct cleaning or how to do a kitchen renovation or anything like that. So people associated the brand of Smart Reno, the service that they were getting afterwards. So you've connected me with a contractor. You've owned the whole service of Smart Reno. Now I'm going in here and somebody messes up my kitchen or they do a shoddy job. And the problem is they got a lot of bad PR, right? So people said, "Oh, I didn't like the contractor, the quality wasn't good." So because they didn't own the actual service offering after it, people started giving bad reviews to Smart Rental. They gave us a bad contractor. I wasn't happy. So I think what's interesting about this is, and obviously because it was an RBC venture, they were like, "You know what? Shut it down. This is bad on our name. Like, this isn't good for RBC." I feel like if RBC would have acquired this, or if it wasn't RBC that acquired it, or they didn't even get acquired, I think if they didn't get acquired, they would have just worked with their partners, fixed this out. Like, this would have been a like lead gen money printing machine, right? But because it was acquired by a bigger company, they did not want to take the risk. They didn't want to work with the vendors. Didn't want to. It was taking them far further away from their core business, which was essentially selling renovation mortgages, right? So now you have a company that you have a group of companies that their goal is to make really good renovations for people and connect them with the best contractors, and then you have another company that is saying, "Hey, we've invested in this. We just want to make sure that we make our profit on mortgages, right? So yeah, I think that's where these things can break down. It's like, yeah, like you can generate all these leads for people, but the consumer coming in should have that good experience as well, right? So they should be feeling like, because if you turn these funnels on, they will go up, right? Because people will always need renovating. They'll always need these things. So I don't know. I think that was such a cool example, right? All right. So this is Smart Reno. And honestly, it's one of my favorite onboarding experiences that I've ever seen in a startup. And this is on Wayback Machines. Bear with the bad loading and all that. So you would come in and you'd say, hey, I need to renovate my, I don't know, what do you want to renovate, Pedro?
Let's do exterior
So what do you need done?
roofing.
You need
Some roofing down here.
all right. This is where it's going to breaking. So yeah, generally what it would do is you go through these amazing onboarding experiences and it would say you need roofing, how much square feet, how much all this, and what comes out of this onboarding experience is a beautiful lead, like a 10 out of 10 lead, right? And that's great because like I'd sign up for that if I'm a contractor and I'm just getting leads and leads and leads, and they're pre-qualified, pre-screened, and I know exactly how much square foot. I can start building quotes on that, right? That's what these guys want to see. They just want quality leads and quality quotes. So that does amazing, right? Now, the problem is, yeah, you get so many of those quality leads and you close all those deals. What's the problem now? You got to do all the work, right?
That is a problem.
And if you're setting all these quality leads to a really good contractor who, he's never hired a crew before, what's the problem then?
What will be the problem? It's infrastructure management. So problems can arise.
It's an HR problem, right? He has to go and hire some people, right? He goes to hire people, he needs to train them. And what's the problem if like you've never done that before? You're a contractor on your own, you're just starting out and you don't know how to train somebody, right? Then what happens is the quality of work goes down, right? So that's exactly what happened with Smart Reno. They built a really good funnel, then the funnel worked really well and it broke the operational system, right? So they sent it to the partners, and the partners, they were so successful that they probably ended up growing their business, adding more staff. The demand was so high that they couldn't train their staff properly, and then the quality of the service became bad. And then when the customer's unhappy, who do they go back to? Do they go back to, Freedom Roofing Company? Or did they go back to where they started their journey, and where they started their experience, which is Smart Reno, right? And again, I think this problem could have been solved if Smart Reno wasn't attached to a big company that worried about their PR more than they worried about the customer's experience, right? They could have fixed this. I think they could have went back, worked with partners, did partner training, helped their partners with resourcing. I think that would have been really good. But you need to actually have the people. It should just be one company, right? It should be a company that actually knows how to deliver in-house and scale as well, right? So that's where I think like the opportunity is for these, you know, like if you can find a contractor who really wants to build a big company with this, then you can build this like a product-led funnel for them, because someone who's like, hey, you know what? I know how to build at scale. I know how to to build multiple crews to handle all this. And I think that's where the magic will happen in this industry, right? Okay, cool. The second thing I want to talk about is this was sent over to me. I got a beta version of this, and we were talking about insider playbooks. So insider playbooks is, I think, a really interesting way of gating content, right? So when you think of gated content, what do you think of? Like, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Ooh, tons. Downloadable pieces, perhaps workflows, processes, anything that he has, that he has a sort of a wow that you want to access to, but nobody wants to give it for free.
Yeah. So typically the thing is, hey, here's a PDF. Give me your email, I give you PDF, right? That's the like basic boring thing, right? Now, we've done a couple of things that are different in the past, right? We've done stuff like, and I think just people are bored with that, right? Like lots of people aren't happy to give their email away for just a PDF. I don't know if it's really good, like it is still a good reliable lead gen in B2B. But I think what's interesting is when B2B lead gen turns kind of more into e-commerce. So what if I say to you now that like, okay, to get that PDF, you're going to have to spend $10 to get that PDF, right? Now, is a landing page with just like download this for $10, are you are you going to be convinced right away, or are you going to want more for that?
Always want more for that.
Yeah, right. So I think this is a winning model right here. And it's called Insider Playbooks. Okay, so here's the landing page for Insider Playbooks. So built for e-commerce. So it's basically playbooks for like what other e-commerce companies are doing really well. So you have, Magic Spoon, Gymshark. So learn how top e-commerce brands actually scale, then put their strategies into place. Okay, so it's going to give you strategies, actual ad examples, show them how they design their websites and how they do their email funnels. Cool, right? So this is not just a PDF. This is like coursework, templates, and Dexter AI, an on-demand AI strategist trained on real e-commerce playbooks. So I guess you can like use this coach along the way. So, I got secret beta access to this. Let's take a look inside and how it's built. And to be honest, this feels for me like I'm getting more than just a PDF. Yeah, you come in here, you get playbook tools, templates, and then you have your AI here that you can go in and chat and ask questions to, right? So let's take a look at some of the playbooks. I don't know, which one do you like?
Uh, Olipop.
Yeah, dude, Olipop.
Let's take a look.
Okay, so we have a little bit of information about this company that has a playbook. We got like a little AI reading out like the intro, a business model behind it, all this stuff. And then we get a Figma, like a Figma funnel here. So we have all of what their landing pages look like, how they do things, analysis of that landing page, how their product page works, how their cart works, what makes their cart convert well. Deep dive into that and payment process. And I think they have all the email funnels here too. Yeah, this is like good, useful stuff. I don't know. What are your initial thoughts on this?
I mean, I think this is pretty good. Although, like, the caveat is that we have to take this directional, but it's very useful. At least you can see, a bunch of stuff that has worked, has happened. I will say, I mean, there's no simple replicable model that works as scale for anybody, but there is pieces or bits and pieces that we can take from different approaches across different industries and just make sure that we customize them or adapt them to our current clients pretty much.
Yeah, so I like the idea of asking someone to pay for the content. To me, it feels like it's less of a hook, right? If someone's just saying, "Hey, give me your email," it might be like, "Okay, well, what are you trying to get from me in the long run if I give you my email," right? Whereas if I feel like if there's a dollar amount on it, I feel like this content is so good that it's worth paying for. And once you've paid for it, you're A, gonna make it better. B, you think it's valuable enough that you don't need to ask me for something else to get to it. And C, I like the idea of logging into a portal as well. Right? If it's in a portal that I know that you're up, it's not going to go stale. You're going to update it. New things will be added to it. And yeah, I just think that that's a great way. Like you could use this same model for like a legal company. Hey, I'm a lawyer's office. We have all of the basic templates to get you started and figuring this out. And we've trained an AI to to ask any basic legal questions you want. And then that legal service just answers the basics or answers the more difficult questions, the things that are specific to you or something like that. Yeah, I think if you look at where people are going on YouTube, like people are putting all this stuff on YouTube, why not like take these courses that you have, put them into a gated situation, and then you have monthly recurring revenue for your top of funnel, right? Yeah, I think this is a winning strategy, like that could be used for a lot of service-based businesses. So yeah, really like this.
What is the question, the likeliness of somebody paying for this versus what you just mentioned, going to YouTube directly and perhaps getting some information for free?
Well, the difference is like the YouTube can explain, you can even take some of these templates here and you can say, okay, this is the worksheet, but like I'm st if I'm going to do this for my brand, I'm still going to need to have templates to actually download to do it, right? Something to get me started with, right? So yes, the YouTube can explain how to use the template, but if you want access to the template to start working on it, then you give your email or you pay to do it, right? You have an entire economy around that right now with Gumroad, right? If you look at Gumroad, that's their whole model, right? If you go into you you want to find all the people that are like let's look at like Notion templates, the like productivity hack people, right? Like Notion templates for running an agency, Notion templates for running a startup. These are all like 49 bucks to like this is SaaS for white collar work, right? And somebody who's a woodworker or a lawyer or something like that, this is where it should be going, right? You should have an audience on YouTube. You should have that YouTube audience lead to a product, which essentially these are just digital products in e-commerce, right? So yeah, I like this model. If you're so much the expert in this thing, you know,
Hmm.
open the door, show me what's inside. I'll pay for it. Like I might not have 600 bucks an hour to talk to the lawyer, but if there's a basic template that you can let me download that I can start playing with until I get into serious legal trouble, why not like why not help those people out and build a business model around it? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's cool. Last thing I want to talk about is just AI art direction. So blog things that are boring. Gated content, just giving an email, boring, right? That was an alternative. Now, blog posts, boring as well, right? But general blog posts, SEO blog posts with just an image and no editorial vision, that's tends to be very boring as well. I'm actually having a lot of fun with blogs and resources sections lately with using Midjourney. So I think the difference between what a good and a great blog has always been is art direction, right?
Mhm.
So look at some of the best ones over the years, like Wealth Simple, right? Like Wealth Simple has always had very strong art direction. If you go into their learn section, they have a whole learn section. So tax guide, retirement guide, home buyer's guide. Yeah, so great art direction, animation. This is kind of what makes you trust doing a blog and doing any content is about earning an email, right? And number one thing to earn an email is to trust somebody. So I never think that art direction, you shouldn't invest in it because the second you go to somewhere that's like stock image, blah, 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 you don't trust it as much, right? But if art direction is in there and there's a creative direction, then you trust it more. So what we've been doing with Tract is like, hey, we can do a lot of cool stuff with Midjourney, but you need to have a creative direction. So Tract, our brand is like Tron meets the movie 19 Hackers. So how do we explain that or show that in our blog, right? So number one, it's like we are not just gonna we stock images are dead now, right? We have full creative direction at our fingertips, right? So this is an article just on measuring trade shows, right? So we have great art direction here. We have like the tracked uh, image, the lighting, the like confident salesperson, authorship here. Sophia did like I don't know what she's doing there. She's got some kind of cyberpunk like thing going
Like
on.
it.
And then, yeah, like what makes a good article that you actually want to read? Okay, this is good. I'm learning how to do attribution tracking. But like make the article feel like something. Trade shows is about lanyards, QR codes, stuff like that. So we kind of built a really good prompt library for like what is the tracked brand. And then we start building that into all of our editorial content. So, okay, we're talking about QR codes. Let's have like, techie QR code stuff. And all of this stuff just adds up to making it feel trustworthy, right? And this was always a luxury, right? Remember, like when we used to work at Rate Supermarket, it was like we hired a illustrator. Like, why was our blog good? Because we hired an illustrator to illustrate nice things. And that's what made people trust it and want to subscribe to it and have an email newsletter, right? Because they were part of a editorial thing. So right now with AI, it's literally like you can, if you have a prompt library, you can build a whole feeling around this editorial. And that is what builds trust. So yeah, I think that's really cool. Anyways, any thoughts on this?
And I really love the brand and the direction of this. It's a little bit different. I like the elements of that. It's just really cool. Really cool to work on this.